Well, that's funny. Her touch tickles, especially on my tummy. Now who's got the microphone? Now who's honey? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a beautiful, amazing, just wonderful day. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Big Big Train with their song Folklore. This is the first track and the title track off of their album of the same name, which was released in 2016.
Last time
we had listened to Big Big Train, I was absolutely blown away. And one of you in the community, thank you so much by the way, had actually bought me their live album, which is really cool. I haven't listened to it because I figured I should listen to some more, of Big Big Train to get myself kind of acclimated to them before I listen to that. So that was a nice reminder and a nice gift as well. So thank you so much for that. And I figured, you know what, let's listen to this song. A lot of you guys have been asking for more from the BBT, and I'm happy to give it to ye. I was trying. Anyways, you're more than welcome to join me on Twitter in the comments down below. Let's just jump into the song. Why not? Why wait? Why delay? We don't want to delay the train, make it late for the station. This is Folklore by Big Big Train.
Begin where it all began. Fireside flickering flames make the shadows die. So we go, we pass it on, we hand it down. We tell our tales, we sing our songs while we have breath left in our lungs. Hey ho, so we go, we pass it on, we hand it down. We pass it on down to the young from the old. We feel it deep down in the soul. Grist to the mill, fuel to our fire. Pass it on, we hand it down. Who to say? So it's on. We pass it down. It carries on. Than the sword, the music of the word is scored. So we go, our satellites, they span the globe. Lo, our story shall be told. For it is safe. So it lives on. messenger. Speak with integrity, truth, love, and light.
Yeah, exactly. It's I expected no less, and I got greater than I was expecting. I don't even know if that sentence makes sense. This is an epic way to open up the album. A song named Folklore after an album named Folklore, which I like how the lyrics work into the story of the music itself, and I have a really far-reaching, really far-reaching theory about the album cover and the song and the album title, which I'm gonna try and get to later, but it's really a far-reaching theory. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about this song is the pure stature and composure that it has as a whole. It's one of those songs where I feel like I need to talk about every single member of the band because they all contribute so much weight to the depth that is Folklore. This song has it all. This song, as I mentioned with East Coast Racer, it sounds like what I would imagine prog should be in 2016. Did I say this year? Or this album came up, I think 2016 it was. Yeah. I feel like this is what modern prog should sound like, or at least in parts. You know, obviously, there's different bands, different styles, different everything. But I feel like this is like the heart of what prog is. Brilliant storytelling, excellent composition, music and feeling that comes together out of the technicality that they have. Because every single member in this band, and even the orchestral arrangements around them, they play in a way that you know that they could play, for example, like Dream Theater. Like they could play to that level if they so chose to. But they don't. They allow their technicality to play a part in telling the story. All they have with their technicality, as far as I can tell, all of it is just a wider palette to choose different colors from in order to paint a more beautiful picture. Now, there's different kinds of art, right? You could be abstract with all your colors, you could be monotone, you could do all these things. They have all the colors, the same colors as a band, I'm just comparing by the way, like Dream Theater has. They just put a lot more effort, personally, into like the story. of it all, the composition and the overarching feeling of how the song makes you feel in accordance with the lyrics as well, which I think is very, very powerful. I'm getting the exact same energy I got from East Coast Racer in this song. So David Longdon, I mean, he has like a very, very pure voice. It's very clean. He's well enunciated as he's singing, and himself, alongside really with the whole of the band, feels so sophisticated in what they're presenting. He is focused on the story. I watched a few live videos of the band performing East Coast Racer, and one thing I like about him is his focus in delivering this story. He feels like he is a narrator for the audience, presenting the folklore, presenting stories that have been handed down from times past, from ancient times into modern day. He feels like he is nothing more than the interpreter of those stories and of those legends. He just has a certain kind of presentation, and even without watching, even just listening to the song, I get that. Nick on the drums. Do you hear Nick? I mean, you expect powerful drums throughout, yes, and you get that. But I like those sections in which he plays, for example, in my opinion, alongside with the symphonic nature of the song. I like when he plays these tribal rhythms to almost make it feel like a ritual is going on around you. Like there's, the elders are standing up and they're speaking about old times and their past while there's fires raging and, the rest of the village and the people are gathered wanting to know more about their history.
Greg Spotton, who's playing the bass.
Greg, he provides, alongside with that percussion, a certain kind of, a certain kind of possessed rhythm into the song. I feel like him alongside with the guitar played by Dave Gregory is what brings the spirit into this realm, is what brings life into this song. And then there's so many other sparks going on. For example, a huge spark. I know I'm really just going down the personnel list, but did you hear the song? Danny Manners, who's playing keyboards and at some points apparently double bass. But his keyboard work, his piano work, and I believe also Ricard Yoblum? I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. But the keyboards and the pianos are gorgeous throughout here. Some of them, sometimes you can hear the piano like a lead come out and it's so beautifully melodic. And to me, it feels like, all right, you got the campfire scene that I just told you about, right? Like you got the elders, you got the campfire raging, and you have everyone standing around or sitting around just listening to these stories being told, right? Sometimes you'll see the flames like spark up. Maybe the person who's telling the story like throws something in there to like make some big moment in the story sound even bigger and feel even bigger. I feel like the pianos in this song are that visual cue that something exciting has happened. Same thing alongside of like the violin that's being played. It's like a visual audio cue rather, that something exciting is happening in the story. Something exciting is happening around us because this is all of our stories intertwined. Let's get back into the song though. Huge sweeping orchestra to bring you right in. Grand horns. It's a grandiose entrance into a story that has a grandiose feeling, but brought down to the simplicity of humanity, to each one of us really, in our stories and in how our stories are connected with each other. Really nice violin, which sometimes is played also, this melody is sometimes also played by the keyboards. I like how it's kind of like an Eastern, feels like, I don't know exactly what, but it feels like an Eastern melody that's being played. And I think that, as I just said, reminds me of like the East. And then the way that Dave sings throughout this song, especially with the emptiness when it's just like percussion in his voice, sounds to me kind of Native American. And this is just me once again. I feel like the use of these different themes kind of show just how like we're all connected no matter what oceans are between us or what amounts and miles of land separate us all. Maybe I'm just digging. Some of this even sounds kind of Celtic. I don't know. See, he even talks about the flames. These harmonies, that is cool. So let me just talk about the first lines before I get any further. Let me pull up the lyrics again really quick. So right there, he says, "Let us begin where it all began. Fireside, flickering flames," nice alliteration, "make the shadows dance." Right? So that's immediately where I get that picture of them all, sitting around and discussing these stories. I like how he says, "Let us begin where it all began," from the beginning. And then the chorus and what the other people say in response to him is, "Hey ho, so we go, we pass it on, we hand it down." oral storytelling. We're just handing down these stories from one generation to the next. And this feels like Big Big Train are handing down a certain and particular story down to us. We are the audience sitting campside, sitting fireside, and listening to the elders, in this case, Big Big Train, tell us their story. Or tell us our story. And even the ride has kind of a railroad feeling. The bass entering right there with the guitar. Lots of depth. Yeah. I like how they bounce around with that as well. And then that line he says, while we have breath left, or he says in that line, we tell our tales, we sing our songs, while we have breath left in our lungs, right? So, as I kind of mentioned before, it's the old generation passing it down to the younger and new generation before they pass away. So the stories are continually passed down. Hopefully not like a game of telephone where it's kind of changed, you know, as it goes, which I suppose may be inevitable, but, you know. Nice outcry here. We're going to get some organ in a moment, which brings a lot of heaviness to it. Yeah. See how the organ kind of chops up that melody? Works really well for guitars as well. There's something... Hold on. Let me play it. Hear that kind of swirling sound that came in before I paused it? And then it's uplifting. See, I like Big Big Train because they have a way of carrying emotion. They bring you from the very earthy and into something very, like, kind of dark, a little ominous perhaps. But then there's always that open-ended openness. Always leave you with that uplifting feeling, that open, I don't know, there's another word for it. They always leave you feeling lifted at the end, like as it moves into this part. Like, this feels so powerful. They get into some dissonance here as we get into a little bit of a break, rather. Right? This feels like the spirit's coming alive. That piano, love that. Love that. Very analytic. The guitar even sounding like it's screeching, is trying to cry out and become alive. That bass. Okay, hear me out. Personal preference. I love how the organ comes in right there, by the way. Personal preference. I wish that part went on a little longer because I love when bands like break into something pretty much completely different, especially if it's atmospheric and it's like it's open. So I was hoping that the ritual would just last a little bit longer. I was wishing that the story's coming alive and that deep, gravely voice would stay a little longer. It's like having dessert and wishing you had more. But, you know, maybe if you had more, you'd realize, oh, that was a bit too much. And then in this end of the song, as it reaches its resolution, you get a little bit of a solo from a lot of the members, actually. You get a guitar solo, you get a keyboard solo, the violin. They each take a nice, like, bow, basically, as the curtains begin to close on this particular song. This is really cool. Just getting into a few more of the lyrics here. For it is said, so it lives on. We pass it down, it carries on. Oh, down we go into folklore. The pen is mightier than the sword. The music of the word is scored. Battles may be fought and wars may be won, but the pen and the words that we write down will, hopefully, last forever. The next lines I thought were interesting are satellites. They span the globe. Lo, our stories shall be told. So even as time goes forward to the point where we are now, with satellites, you know, floating around the globe, these stories are still written down. These stories are still being told. And hopefully we're all still learning from these stories. At the end, he says, I am the messenger, I speak with integrity, truth, love, and light. I think that this song just wonderfully came together. I think that like everything in it just works. You know, it's a symphonic, progressive rock piece. Before I end the video, let me get to my really, really out there theory. And I don't know if this is, it's probably not intentional. I really am just kind of writing a theory. Okay, so in the album cover, we got a raven or a crow, some sort of corvid, and I'm just guessing. The album title is called Folklore. Crows and ravens, I think of them as like the harbingers of something. Kind of like Odin, right? Like if the was it a crow or raven? I don't know, one of them. But if it was near, then Odin was watching, I think. Also, they could be known as like the harbingers of death. Like, either way, they're bringing something. The song is called Folklore, like, maybe the raven is symbolic of bringing things, like the old gods being present, like Odin, like the folklore, like the stories being passed down. I told you it was a reach. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the song. You can join me on Twitter in the comments down below. I didn't even really like bake that theory to completion. It was kind of I don't know what I'm thinking. You can join me on Twitter. Comments down below. You can support the channel on Patreon if you'd like. But let me know what you thought of the song, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I feel like I was going somewhere with that theory, but I didn't really go anywhere.